People have always misunderstood you, not because you're confusing, but because they're limited. They look at you through the lens of their own fears, their own insecurities, their own narrow frameworks. They try to interpret you using a vocabulary that doesn't match your depth. When they can't decode you, they assume something is wrong with you instead of admitting something is missing in them. You've always operated on a different frequency. You think in layers. You feel in dimensions. You sense patterns before they fully form. You notice the emotional temperature of a room before anyone speaks. You see the truth behind people's words, the intention behind their tone, the fracture behind their confidence. This isn't sensitivity, it's perception. And perception is a form of intelligence most people never develop. But people fear what they can't categorize. They fear what doesn't fit their expectations. They fear what challenges their sense of normal. So they tried to shrink you, tried to simplify you. They tried to make you digestible, tried to turn you into something they could understand, not because it was good for you, but because it was comfortable for them. You learned to dim yourself to avoid their discomfort. You learned to hide your depth because it intimidated them. You learned to pretend you didn't see what you saw, didn't feel what you felt, didn't know what you knew. You learned to wear a version of yourself that made them feel safe. But every time you did, you stepped further away from the person you were built to become. The truth is, you weren't designed for their approval. You weren't designed for their understanding. You weren't designed to fit inside their small interpretations of reality. You were built with a different architecture, one that thrives in complexity, one that grows under pressure, one that evolves through discomfort. You weren't built for ease. You were built for expansion. Your mind is wired for transformation. You don't stay the same for long. You shed identities the way others shed excuses. You outgrow environments that others cling to. You break patterns that others repeat. You evolve faster than people can keep up with, and instead of admitting they're behind, they call you unstable, dramatic, intense, or too much. But you're not too much. They're too little. They're too rigid. They're too afraid. They're too invested in staying who they are, to understand someone who's constantly becoming. They mistake your evolution for chaos because they've never experienced growth at your scale. You were built with a purpose that doesn't reveal itself all at once. It reveals itself in fragments, in the people you outgrow, in the instincts you can't ignore. In the moments where you feel pulled toward something you can't explain, you're not meant to understand it fully yet. You're meant to follow it. And the people who tried to limit you, they weren't villains. They were simply unqualified to interpret you. They were reading a complex blueprint with a child's understanding of architecture. They were trying to decode a language they were never meant to speak. They weren't wrong about you. They were just too small for the scale of who you are. You weren't built for them. You weren't built for their comfort. You weren't built for their approval. You weren't built for their understanding. You were built for something bigger, something they were never meant to comprehend. And the moment you stop seeking their validation, you step into the version of yourself that was waiting for you all along. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more psychological deep dives, and thank you for joining us.